All right, welcome back, guys. We're going to watch Unit 6, Lecture 9. We'll be discussing ranching in this lesson. Lesson 10 will focus on mining. All right, now, ranches and cowboys. Most of us have heard of cowboys. Right now, in the Great Plains, the buffalo are gone. We learned about the destruction of the buffalo in the last lesson. Indians are removed from those Great Plains. And so now the Great Plains is open to cattle ranching, cattle being your cows. This is clearly not a buffalo, but a longhorn cow. There are no boundaries or fences, which is why it's called the open range. You can move herds of cattle anywhere you want without having to worry about without trespassing. Now, you will trespass, but there are no fences to keep you out. So you can go from one place to the next and not have to worry about something blocking your way. There are very few people out west, and most of the population is growing in the east. So in the east, you're going to have a large demand for meat, which is going to, be the driving force for these cattle herds. Now, cattle is big business. Okay, you have a lot of people. You've seen the meat industry today, right? It's just as big back then. You have the railroad, right, for transporting the cattle. You have growing urban population, means your cities are growing. That equals more opportunity for cattle ranchers. That means more meat, and more meat means more money. So you'll start seeing cattle drives from Texas to railroad depots in Cheyenne, Wyoming, Abilene, Kansas, and other places. They're going to drive longhorn cattle from Texas and down in Mexico all the way up to the Midwest, where your trains are going through. Right. The cattle are then shipped to places like Kansas City, one of the greatest cities ever created in the entire world, go Chiefs, or Chicago for processing. All right. Cowboys will drive longhorn cattle along the trail to cow towns. Okay, cow towns, places where all those cattle are taken. Right. Cowboys aren't even American culture. Most people think of, American and the Wild West when they think of cowboys, but cowboys actually stole most of their stuff from Mexican cowboys called vaqueros. Okay, now that's just simply a Mexican cowboy. They're going to steal a lot of things like the stirrups, the lasso, from those Mexican cowboys. Now, your main trails will include the Chisholm Trail, right? My favorite, the Goodnight Lovin' Trail, and the Western Trail. You can see they all go from Texas. Okay, for example, your Western Trail is here, and they'll all start in different places, but they'll eventually have one road. Okay, your Goodnight Lovin' Trail would be here, and then it merges onto that Western Trail, and the Chisholm Trail here is its own. Okay, these are your main trails. There are more trails, but usually a lot of them merge into these big three. Now, the cowboy mythology does not match the harsh reality of daily life on the trail. What I mean by cowboy mythology is, what you've grown up watching on TV, those cowboys and Indians, and all they really do all day is go out and save the town or rob banks, and they just drink at saloons, and they do nothing but have fun and live how they want to. But in reality, they have a very rough life because all they do is work. It's not just, cowboys doing it, high noon. All right, they are working extremely hard day and night. They trail these cattle across the country. Okay, and that is a 24-hour job. Wildlife and cow towns like Dodge City. Right, Dodge City, one of my favorite ones. In fact, there's TVs, Gunsmoke, and things like that. TV shows that are made out of perpetuate or continue cowboy mythology. They make cowboys seem almost, bigger than life at some point. Now, I think almost every child has played cowboys and Indians at some point in their life. And if you didn't, well, I don't even know. Everyone I know did. So, the end of the open range. I believe that's the last one. Oh, yeah. Overpopulation of the cattle will be one. Okay, too many cattle, and when there's so much of one thing, guess what happens to the price? It goes down. All right, you'll have disease. drought, cold, all these things can not only kill the cattle, but they can kill the cowboys as well. You'll have range wars over access to water and grazing land. Grazing meaning they're going to eat on that land. Now, barbed wire is invented by Joseph Glidden. This closes open grazing by early 1890s. That means that you cannot just take the cattle wherever you want. All right, that means you're going to have to go around. You can't go straight to your destination. And a lot of cowboys are hired by farmers to move cattle onto their land or to control where that cattle moves. And if you can fence your cattle in, you don't really have to hire cowboys for that anymore. So the need for cattle drivers and cowboys is going to decrease. So it's going to put them out of work. And that's going to be the end of the open range. Okay, so that is all for this video. You will watch the next lecture, which is mining in the West.